What were y'all's highs, low? And I want you to actually give me a low. You're not allowed to say nothing. Everything was great. Yeah. The low was leaving. Like, you can't say that.
I got my low.
It actually has to be a low. And then God moments. I mean, if you didn't have a God moment, I'm not going to force you to have one. But in terms of like, when did you really feel God speaking to you? Was there a way that you really felt touched by God while you were there? Or anything like that? Do I want to start? I feel like Caden wants to start.
Trying to think of the low. I got the high and I got the GMO.
You can start with the high. It's cool.
Okay. The high was definitely the adoration. I think most people, if you ask anyone from Seek, it's probably going to be the adoration.
Right.
Just really, really beautiful. It was about 2 hours, right? 2 hours?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
Didn't
kneeling
feel
on
like
concrete the entire time, but it was
Awesome.
worth it. It was super cool, and they were processing it around. I loved that.
Who was the priest someone that we would know, or a bishop, or?
Dude, I don't know his name.
They were probably training arms, whoever it was, for a long time.
Oh,
They switched out.
Yeah, they
though,
switched
with
off.
like 4 different. I think it was 4 different bishops.
You said they walked around. They
Oh, the
did
entire,
the entire
like,
stadium.
thing, yeah.
The
That's cool.
entire stadium.
That's really cool. All right.
Yeah.
We can come back for a low. You can chew on
I'm
your
still
low for a minute.
sitting on it.
All right.
I guess I'll start with the low because it kind of leads to the high. But the low is, I feel like when you're at these like huge, conferences and there's just so much stuff, you can really get kind of bogged down with like, Lord, what are you calling me to in the midst of all this stuff? You know, like,
from a fire hose,
like you see like the 500 priests coming in, you're like, I want to be that. And then you like, hear a talk about, being a father, and you're like, I want to be that too. And it's like all these different things. It's like, Lord, I feel like there's almost, and I say this a lot about like, there's something good about like Jesus' time where it's like, your father was a carpenter, so you were a carpenter. And I'm like, sometimes I'm like, dang, I really wish I could have
It
that.
were that easy.
Because it's just like, there's such a beauty in all of the different options. But sometimes it's like a low because you're like, God, I don't know, what you're calling me to. And it's really confusing, as far as, but I think the high was, there was a lot of talk about, the Father's love and about how it really doesn't matter, kind of what Tessa was saying about the panda bears, but it really doesn't matter like what you do. God will always, be there. And I know that's cliche to talk about the Father's love, but
no, it's not though. And it might have been from Seek. I was listening to a speaker. I have no idea who it was, and they were digging into that about how when we sin and we're wallowing in our sin and we feel dirty and we feel just disgusted and shameful with ourselves, right? That God looks at us not with anger, but almost in like this, like kind of, and this isn't going off the love thing yet, but I'm going to get there. This like, dude, stop. Like, what are you doing right now? This like frustration of, do you not trust, right? Do you not trust in my mercy? Do you not trust me and love me? And it is cliche in that we say it a lot, but it's not cliche in that we say it a lot and I feel like nobody believes it. I have a hard time believing it. I have a really hard time trusting in God's love. The Father's love is like something that I have to work on a lot. So no, not cliche.
And like sometimes like when we hear that, we don't actually, but Father Mark Mary had a really good talk about, it was like one of the smaller talks that you can kind of choose to go to, about just like illustrating in the sense that we would understand as far as like, what a father does for his son, like an earthly father does for his son. And there was just really good illustrations about that. I think it was like one in particular, was really good because it was about, an adopted daughter and her adopted, her father that adopted her, was basically, I guess they were like, she was feeling guilty or something like that about, I think there was something going on in her life and she like brought money that she would like saving up. And she's like a little girl, like it was only like $15 and said like, hey, I know like things are hard, I'm going to pay this rent to you.
Yeah.
And like the way that the father, like this earthly father was just like, what are you doing? You know what I'm saying? like in a way that like his heart hurt because he was like, I don't want your money. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't have to pay rent to live in my house, and it was just really beautiful. Like if an earthly father can do that,
how much more so?
And, kind of leading into my God moment was, I think it was actually after the conference, I was listening to, Matt Frad and Father Mike Schmitz talking about, how, in regards to my low and like discerning and stuff like that, like discerning is I feel like in the Catholic world, it's just such a weird word because I feel like it means like I'll do nothing, I'll just like discern, meaning like I'm not going to do anything. But he was saying like, if you want to be a priest, if you feel called to it, like go to a come and see.
Do it. Yeah.
If you feel called to marriage, like date, like take steps in some way. So it was really good to just kind of like get redeemed off that low to kind of say like, oh, well, you know, you just got to do something, you know, and God's going to lead you, but you just got to take a step. So that was kind of mine.
That's cool. Yeah, that call to action, I think, is something that's really important. We spin our wheels really hard.
Yeah, Catholics are really good at that. Just
we do it
like,
for the sake of perceived piety, but really it's like, what are you doing?
Just do something, you know.
And I love something cool about Seek too is like you have like that kind of like rejuvenation of like do it, but then you also have all of the orders there to actually go out and do it. So it's like everything's just like you can actually take the action right now. Yeah, so I love that. But
it's really cool. Yeah. Belle, you want to go?
Yeah. Okay. So my low was something they don't tell you about Seek is you need to find food somewhere, and there's 20,000 people in one city. Right. And finding like a restaurant or something to get food at takes forever. So by like Thursday, I was pretty hungry, and when I say hungry, I was a little hangry a little bit.
Her stomach was growling in the morning in bed.
The way you said that, it sounds like you had not eaten food until Thursday, like at all. By Thursday, I had gotten pretty hungry.
I just had small meals because they give you lunch at Seek.
Oh, I see. Okay.
But like I don't think I ate dinner the night before, and I was a little hangry, and so Tessa and I had a really fun morning. It was very bonding, and we ended up like going to the women's session, and then going to like the mass in St. Louis, and then we got lunch, and that was just really fun to like just get lunch. But
good.
It
I
got
thought
better.
That was all going into your low. And she is a terrible person.
No, it got better. It got better. But so note to anybody who goes to Seek, just make sure to take care of yourself, because it's a lot of, especially I'm a sanguine, which is like just means like I'm really energetic. It's a temperament. And I just get distracted a lot by people. So sometimes I forget. So remember that if you go to Seek. Okay. But my high was probably that same night. Seek has so many people there, and so many like good Catholic like people. I don't know if you've ever heard of Father Boniface Hicks.
Yeah, I do know that name.
He was there, and I like stood in line like waiting for him to talk to him. I don't even know, but I just like felt called to talk to him. He's like an exorcist. He's like a Benedictine priest. He's really cool. And it was just one of the most beautiful. This is probably my God moment too. One of the most beautiful moments, because like I walked up to him, and he just looked at me, and I looked at him, and I just started like crying, because just the look in his eyes was just so beautiful.
Right.
And I don't know, I just felt so loved. And then I barely said anything, and he just spoke so much truth to me. And it was just a beautiful moment. But Seek just has really like exposed you to like all those things and all those people.
Man, this is like the best commercial for Seek ever. Okay.
Yeah.
It's super cool.
Yeah.
What about you, Tessa?
Yeah, so I think I had two kind of lows, which ended up being beautiful, because that's what the cross is for, right? But yeah, I think the first low was just getting there, and I don't do well with like a lot of people. So it's just like very easy to kind of feel just like you are with so many people, but it's like kind of like because there's so many people, like you kind of feel unseen. Right, just amongst. But then there's like this beautiful moment too, where it's like, no, like that's the lie that like Satan tries to bring in that moment, and then like just having like adoration and like the Lord like in the sacrament and the Eucharist like coming to me personally, and just like His truth spoken over that, like, you know, you in this world, like amongst all these people, like you are still my daughter, and like special to me, and like you matter. And so that was just like such a beautiful like contrasting and like, I don't know, truth over the lie. And then my second low
was lunch with Bella.
That was actually one of like the main highs.
Really
that was a
fun.
really beautiful moment for both of us. Yeah, but I got this rash on my legs.
Oh, I forgot about this.
The whole week.
Spiritual warfare.
So spiritual warfare, yeah, and it was like really beautiful, because it was really hard and really painful, and I still don't know why it happened. I have maybe some thought, but it was just beautiful, because I was like, wow, Lord, like you're actually like, you trust me enough to like kind of entrust this suffering to offer it up to whoever like needs it, and for myself and my friends too. So it was like, I don't know, it was just a way to unite myself with Him on the cross, but it was painful.
Yeah, she was really itchy.
It was really
it was hard.
my whole legs red, everything.
Oh,
so
Poor thing.
Yeah.
But here we are. We're alive and well, and praise God. But I think my God moment and my high was probably seeing all the religious life, because last year I just kind of avoided them all. And I was like, no, I'm not going to talk to any of them. And then this whole year, the Lord just has done a lot of my work and like in the way he's loved me and like through religious life and everything. And I've met a lot of orders in the past year and just became friends with them. And just to see them all like in their charism, in their order, and to talk to them and to see like the relics. I think the Salesians had relics of St. Don Bosco and St. Mary Mazzarello and St. Francis de Sales. And like one of the priests was able to pray over me with like one of the relics and stuff. And it was just...
I'm a sucker for relics. I love
yes.
So good.
Me too. They had so many there on every
so
booth.
many.
Whoa, hey, you made it to the end of the video. Way to go. Congratulations. Good for you. That's hard to do nowadays. If you have a second, could you please drop us a like, subscribe, and if you really enjoyed this episode, go check out our full Honest to God. This is just a clip. There's so much more to this.